Another year has gone by and people are earning an incredible income and building their dream lifestyles with using Amazon's KDP self-publishing platform. My name is Emeka, founder of my self-publishing blueprint, and in today's video, I'm going to walk through and tell you everything you need to know about self-publishing in 2020. Self-publishers have been hitting income milestones of $10,000, $15,000, and over $20,000 a month. And 2020 is going to be an absolute massive year for many of them. And they all started off watching videos just like this one. I want to walk you through some of the things that I've learned over the last few years so you can make 2020 your best year ever. So before we begin, I want to say I'm not an author. I don't write any of my books. I have over 100 self-published books on Amazon that I've published as acting as a publishing company. They are all under various pen names in various niches, and I look at this business as a way to make money using Amazon's KDP platform and many others by serving a particular customer in a particular niche. Having said that, the tips that I'm about to tell you in this video work for authors or publishers alike, fiction or nonfiction, beginners or experts in this field. And before I begin, I need to let you know the final tip that I'll be talking to you about in this video is a tip that can be a complete game changer for your publishing business in 2020. So you want to make sure you stick around to the very end to listen to that. And before we begin, if you're brand new to the channel, please make sure you comment below. Let me know where you are in your self-publishing journey. And please smash the subscribe button as well so you can keep up to date with the latest self-publishing news. All right, so let's dive in. The first tip you want to understand is the importance of customer research. Now, what does this actually mean, customer research? It means identifying the one customer that you're trying to solve a problem for, or the one customer that you are writing the book for. This is very, very important. And this was being the biggest change in my success and my students' success over the last little bit. When you identify that customer, you're able to write the book specifically for them to solve their specific problem, to meet their specific needs. When you do that, everything in this business changes. Reviews come in a lot easier and sales come in a lot faster. So how specific should you be in understanding your customer? Very specific. What age demographic are they going to be? Are you writing books for teens? Are you writing books for people in their 20s, 30s, 40s? Are you writing books for people in their 70s or 80s? You have to understand what type of customer are you going after to solve their problem. Take it a step further. Is your customer going to be a male or female? One of those two genders. Who are you writing your books for? Or who is going to be purchasing your book? Understanding that, because women are going to be looking for different answers than men, just like men will be looking for different answers than women. So you have to understand who is going to be buying my books. If you're writing a book for a topic that could be bought for both genders, dog training, for example, well, then make sure it's gender neutral and understand what type of customer, that dog trainer, what are they looking to solve in that particular book. Another very important factor that I look for when I'm doing my customer research is what level of experience is my customer going to have? And this is something that I add to my outline when I send it off to the writing companies for the book to be written. Is my customer, they understand 30% of this topic so far. So they're a very beginner or they're an expert already. They understand this because that's going to change the language that you're going to have to use inside your book. If you're writing books for a very complicated topic like programming, computer programming, for example, and they're a brand new beginner person, it's very important that you use very simple, basic, easy to understand language. If they're more advanced and you're using that simple, easy to understand language, you're going to turn off that customer. So it's important to understand exactly who is buying your book. Now, tip number 2 is to publish on all platforms. This is still something that I am reminded about today. Now, when I'm saying publish on all platforms, I'm just talking, make sure you have an ebook available for customers who want an ebook, have a paperback for customers who want a paperback, and have an audiobook for customers who want an audiobook. It is very important that you take yourself out of this situation and think about, how is my target customer digesting this information? Some people will only buy ebooks, some only paperbacks, and some audiobooks. It is not up to you to decide which one they're going to buy. It is up for them to be able to make that choice freely themselves. I'll give you two examples of when I kind of, put my foot in my mouth in this scenario. My fourth book that I came out with, I only published on an ebook platform because at the time I was following some information that just wasn't the best information in the world. So only ebooks. That book ended up taking off, and within a week and a half, 2 weeks, it did $600 in ebook sales. I had no paperback book, and this was a book that was really should have been designed for the paperback. And as soon as I published that book in paperback sales, sales absolutely skyrocketed for that book. I've spoken about this particular book in other videos. I'll try to remember to put it up in the cards there so you can check out the actual numbers if you're interested in it. But you always want to make sure you're publishing on all three platforms. Another mistake I made with this was I was in a computer programming niche, and logic dictates that a computer programming book would not do very well as an audiobook. Right? You have weird commands, and it just makes more sense to be more of a visual book. Never trust your logic, because in this case, my logic was drastically wrong. A year goes by, and I have this book on ebook and paperback, and it's doing okay. Not great, but it's making 100, maybe 200 a month. I decide to put it on ACX as an audiobook. Instantly, that book starts doing $700 to $1,000 a month alone on audiobook. I basically was kicking myself. So that's why you never want to dictate, my customers are probably only going to want ebooks, or they're only going to want audiobooks. So drop the ebook and paperback side. No, make sure you give your customers all three options to select from. So tip number 3 is think like a business owner, not a sheep. It can be very easy that when you purchase a course, you might just follow that course from A to Z, so to speak, and not really deviate from it. And that's exactly what you should do to a certain extent. You are a business owner when you're doing this business. Course creators like myself or anyone else out there, we don't know everything. And it's okay to do a little experimenting yourself. For example, one of the things that I used to do when I first started off was use the KDP Select free promotion. And I used to put all my books on free promotion because, the course I was taking at the time said, put your books on free promotion and it'll start boosting your sales rank. And that was just a load of outdated information. And as soon as, and it was telling me to submit it to all these free websites. And so I was doing that, and it was hours and hours of work. And then for one of my books, I decided, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to skip that step. And what happened is the book that I actually didn't submit to any of those websites got double the free downloads. And that was the first indication that, hey, I can't just follow stuff blindly. I need to experiment and test things out for myself, because as a business owner, that is how you get better results than the next person, by experimenting, taking risks, and seeing what works for your business, because all niches are going to be different. Some niches might do a lot better with certain strategies than other niches. And unless you really kind of go out and test, compare, and make those business decisions, you're not really going to know what's going to be best for your particular niche. So point number 4, it's not so much a tip, it's just a benchmark, so to speak. $20,000 a month will be the new standard for self-publishers in the nonfiction realm. Back in the day, $10,000 a month, when you cross that $10,000 a month, that was the end all and be all. That was, hey, you're great, you know what you're doing, congratulations, go start a course, or whatever the case was. But $10,000 a month is becoming more and more and more common, especially as the Amazon platform grows. This is one of the reasons that you should definitely be getting onto this business right away. Amazon's bringing more and more and more customers to their platform every single day. The growth is absolutely insane. That means it's getting, I don't want to use the word easier, but the opportunity to make more and more money on Amazon with self-publishing is better now than it ever has been in the past. So $1,000 a month is a solid start. It confirms that yes, you can do this whole online business. You know what you're doing, kind of, but you're starting to make a little bit of money. Now at $5,000 a month, you're able to cover most of your living expenses, I would assume. But more importantly, you're able to start saving at a more rapid rate. At $10,000 a month, your life is going to change. But at $20,000 a month, you're going to be able to start accomplishing some of your most wildest dreams. Make sure you don't take your foot off the pedal until you hit that first $20,000 a month in 2020. Now, the fifth point is ads are the new standard. If you're not running ads, I'm talking about the Amazon advertising services, which used to be called AMS, you're missing the boat. Ads are going to be a standard for 2020. This is a landscape that has been changing so much over the last 18 months on Amazon. It's been very, very hard for course creators to keep up with all of the changes. You have to learn how to do the ads yourself. You cannot wait for somebody to come and keep teaching you all the newest changes and things like that. You have to take the responsibility, the onus on yourself, and learn how to run Amazon ads. With the world of the internet, there's no excuse for lack of knowledge. There's no excuse for, I don't know how to do this. There's none of that. If you're not running ads, or if you haven't figured out how to run ads, you're just not being effective enough with your business. You have to get this done. So learn them, focus on them, improve them. They're always going to be changing, but that is a gold standard for 2020. Now, the sixth point is going to be a little controversial, but it's keyword research is not as important as defining your customer. People who have a very defined customer, who have built a brand around helping that customer solve their particular problem, they know exactly what I'm talking about, because they no longer have to do traditional keyword research that you have to do when you're starting out. When you've defined your customer and you've built up an audience, you now go to them to determine what your next book's going to be. They will tell you what they want to hear from you. And you're doing your keyword research based on the actual people who are buying your books. It's very differently than how you do your keyword research when you're starting off with no audience. The thing I love about this is it gives your business purpose, and it makes it 10 times more exciting, because now you have a real audience, a real customer base that you're able to serve, you're able to go after, you're able to exchange emails back and forth to find out what they like and what they don't like about your books. You're not just using the anonymous customer, so to speak, on Amazon and the reviews. You're getting real feedback from real people, and that changes everything in this business. That is one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about finding, one niche, one brand that you want to build around your books, and then just giving everything you can to that business. Much like, a self-publisher that I interviewed a little bit on the channel ago. I'll put her link up here. Chances are you're going to be doing self-publishing only for a couple years. So in a relatively short term, use this time that you're here to learn everything you can about defining a specific customer, how to market and sell specific products to that customer to meet their needs. That right there is the most important skill you can learn in marketing. You'll be able to take that and use it in any other part of this online world or offline world as you choose. But get really good at it first here, where the cost of entry is so low and the learning curve is very easy. So number 7 is commit to 6 books in one niche when you start off. Now, why 6 books? Because you can't really tell anything from one book. If you go ahead, publish a book in one niche, and that book flops, you can't say, oh, there's no money in that niche, or that's a bad keyword or whatever. That was one book. You probably had no clue what you were doing. There's too many other variables that could have gone wrong. So, but if you have 6, you have a really, really, really good chance of a couple of them doing well. And you only need a couple books to do well in order to start having some money coming in. 6 books you can bundle to a minimum of 10 assets on Amazon. 10 assets on Amazon in one niche, you're looking at $1,000 minimum from that particular niche. You don't have to stay in that niche long term. If it gets boring or you're just not interested in it anymore after you've published those 6 to 10 assets, then go and start another niche that maybe has a bit more interest. You now have way more experience, you have money coming in, and you have a lot more confidence in how to choose keywords and niches. So number 8 is the cost of starting Amazon publishing. It is going to continue to rise, but so will the ROI. What I mean by this is back in 2012, 13, 14, you could get a book written for $50, cover for $5 or $10, and you're out the door for $60 to $70. Publishing, making money. That's not the case anymore. Now it'll be anywhere from $700 to $1,000 for a quality, well-written book, $50 to $60 for a quality cover, and then $120, $150 for some narration to turn into your audiobook. Don't let the cost of starting this business scare you though, because the return on your investment, you can't look at it in, what's that book going to make me in the next month? Who cares? It's irrelevant. What's it going to make you over the next 6 months? What's that book going to make you over the next 12 months, 24 months, 48 months? I still have books selling from August. I started this August 2016. That book still makes me, now it's my first book, so not a lot, but it still makes me a couple dollars every single month. Now, can you get started in this business for a little less? Absolutely you can. By doing some of the work yourself a little bit more. Maybe it's writing the books yourself or writing part of the book yourself. Finding a slightly cheaper cover designer, you definitely can. There are ways to get into the business for less. But the way I teach my students is you want to run a business that publishes books. You don't want to be a publisher. This is one of the reasons that I fully recommend this service by the Urban Writers, their Platinum package, where it takes care of 90% of the things that you need when you're creating a book. I'll put a link down below and a coupon code for you so you can go check that out. For those of you who don't want to be writing the books yourself and you just want a one-stop shop, the Urban Writers Platinum package is a godsend. Okay, the 9th tip, we're almost there, is get a course. Don't be naive and try to do it by yourself. Look, courses save money. And yes, I have a course. Yes, I'd like you to get it. But bottom line is this, YouTube videos can only take you so far. Courses save you time and they save you money. And that is the 2 reasons, number 2 and 3, of why you should get it. But the number 1 reason why you want to get a course is to join their private communities. Doing this with other publishers and connecting with other publishers who are doing this exact same thing with you will transform your business and your life like you can only imagine. And that is one of the top reasons why you want to invest in a course. Being able to join like-minded people, bounce ideas off of them, learn and get the most updated information, see what other people are trying, what other strategies are other publishers like yourself trying. Those are the things that you're discussing inside the Facebook groups. And that's why I've always believed the most valuable part of a course is not the videos. It is the access to that community, access to that Facebook group, because you're able to ask specific questions related to your problems, find out what other people are doing, and it's just the most important part, and that will speed up your success, save you money like you can only imagine. Number 10 is pay attention to trends off of Amazon. Time and time again, I've been noticing this happen. Something will become popular off of Amazon, and then a few months later, 6, 7 months later, it'll start showing up on Amazon and those books will start selling. So pay attention to what is going on in pop culture. Pay attention to what is going on in the news. Pay attention to trends that are starting to pick up more and more steam before they get to Amazon. Because this is one of the things that's allowed me to capitalize on some niches before other people got into there. By noticing, hey, this is starting to become more and more popular. Let's check it out. Oh, there's no books on it. Or maybe there's 1 or 2 books on Amazon. But if you can identify an upcoming trend that hasn't reached Amazon yet, and you're the first person in there, I'm telling you, you're going to be laughing all the way to the bank. Okay, tip number 11, last and final tip, here it is. And if you've made it this far, I know 2020 is going to be a massive year for you. Don't be a publisher. Run a self-publishing business. I've done a few videos on this, and I stand by this statement so with everything I have. The last thing you want to be doing is being a publisher who just publishes books. You want to run a publishing company. What I mean by that is this. I have 2 assistants, one manager, one assistant, who run my publishing business for me. I meet with them. We discuss what direction to take the business in, what niches maybe to get into, right? If we're going to focus more on audiobooks or, let's keep building the KDP income, whatever the case is, going wide on other platforms versus narrow on just Amazon. Those are the decisions I like to make. But they do everything else. They do the keyword research. They order the books for me. They create the outlines. They, deal with the cover designers. They do the marketing. I just make the larger level decisions. Doing this has allowed me to have a publishing business that makes 6 figures a year, and I only have to work on it a few hours a month. This is the most important thing I took away when I was learning how to become a self-publisher. I spoke to somebody who's way more experienced than me, and he was doing this. And he's like, you don't want to be a publisher. You want to run a publishing business, oversee the business, and have assistants that work for you. When you do this, you have a level of freedom, a level of confidence that you can't imagine. And that is the most important thing you want to take. Have this mindset from the beginning, because when you do, you'll just start lining up everything properly for you. And then when it's right, you'll start hiring the right people to help you along this path. If you have questions, I want to know them. Hit me up in the comments. I'll take a look at them, answer them, maybe do some future videos on some of the questions that you put in the comments. Of course, you'll have access to my course down below, my self-publishing blueprint, if you are looking at jumping into that and you're ready to make 2020 your best year ever. Definitely want to grab that. Until next time, everybody, I'm Emeka. Let's make 2020 your best year ever.